When I left the church of my childhood around 16 years old, after I realized just how abusive their teachings were, I wish I could say that it was all great immediately after that, but it wasn't. I went through sometimes elation at learning new things, of how I didn't have to be controlled anymore, of how I could have grace with parts of myself that were previously unforgivable. But in the middle of all that, when I was by myself, I'd also experienced this really deep, low, dark feeling. And I asked God, can you help redefine me? Because without this group of people that I thought was going to support me my whole life, I'd really like a new definition of who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing. And also, I have this gift to see in the spirit, visiting heaven since I was 12 years old. All of that started in the church. And all of this I had brought to that church and uplifted the church members, and now that was gone. I wasn't telling anybody about what I was seeing. I also felt like maybe my gift was fading. It was a really scary time. And God gave me a vision that I wasn't ready to accept just yet. It came on a day when I was visiting heaven, and I asked God, okay, what is this about names? Because when I ask angels to tell me their name, they'll give me sometimes a name that's difficult for me to pronounce, so it's clearly not an English-based name. And maybe it's 4 syllables, and you have to say the vowel just right, and nobody will let me give them a nickname. I mean, good for the angels, but I say, God, I can tell names are important. Can you tell me, are there true names? Because Jesus's horse has a name, and you haven't even told me his name, because I won't be able to comprehend it. It's too full of glory. So I just call him Jesus's horse. And God said, Dakota, I will tell you your true name. Are you ready? And I go, he said to me, actually, it kind of came more as a feeling, but as I tried to translate it, it came across as something like fire breather, truth speaker. And before I was really ready to comprehend what that meant, God told me, I want you to take your war horse, your horse that you've been given in heaven, and I want you to go on a mission with him. So I did. I met with Shakishus. I got to jump on board, and he is an amazing horse. He looks like he's maybe like a smaller version of Jesus's horse, although his wings are just absolutely magnificent. And I'll have to do another one on Jesus's horse at another point. Anyway, I jumped on Shakishus, and we started from the throne room in heaven. And I could tell God had told Shakishus where to go. Shakishus flew out of the throne room. We were in space, and we quickly started descending towards Earth. And as we go down, I think we stepped into a vision. So it wasn't so much actually seeing Earth. It was something that God wanted us to see that represented Earth. And as we got closer, I realized that we were heading towards a group of buildings. And some of the buildings were half built, like a construction crew had stopped midway, and others were fully built, and some only had the foundation. And as we almost landed, I think Shakishus kept hovering. I said something, and wherever I said something, it sent energy, like a blast of energy towards these buildings. And some of the buildings didn't withstand the blast and started to collapse. And some did, just fine. Like, it just moved through and everything stayed standing, but it did great. And as we went around and I saw things falling based on what I said, oh my gosh, I just got another interpretation of what this means, which is actually so much better than I originally thought. To me, it looked like buildings, like church buildings, oh gosh, might come down if they had been based on the wrong thing. And when I say the wrong thing, I mean lifting up human ego, whether that be the pastor's or people's ego, versus God's grace of freely accepting this gift and knowing your life comes and ends, but actually will not end. It will just continue on with God and only God's power, manifested through Jesus. Oh my gosh, what I just realized is such a relief. I thought that the stuff I was going to say would tear down the buildings that were not founded on God, were founded on needs of the flesh. And now I have a much better interpretation.